Here we go.
Okay, thank you, Diane, and welcome everyone to our presentation on Europe International. That's a short-term summer program specifically geared and specifically designed for undergraduate students from North American University. And we will show you why the program in 2022 will be the right and maybe even the perfect choice for you, and why you should come to Aachen and spend the summer with us in Aachen, Germany. We have a presentation which will probably last around half an hour, and afterwards I would say the floor is open for Q&A, and we have ample time to answer all of your questions. Before we start, we would like to introduce ourselves. I can start. My name is Daniel Holder. I'm the person here on the left. I am working at the international office of RWTH Aachen University in Germany for 5 years now. I have a PhD in American studies, and I actually spent close to 2 years in the US. The first time, 6 months as a high school exchange student, very close to Michigan in Ohio. Afterwards, I came back to the University of Florida, where I studied for 9 months. I then did an internship in Washington, D.C., plus came back to New York City, not New York State, Diane, to conduct research for my PhD. So I really love the US, and I'm very much looking forward to meeting everyone in Aachen next summer. And now, Lea, it's your turn to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Lea Kula. I'm 22 years old, and I'm the student assistant of the Europe program. And currently, I'm studying in my bachelor's degree, or to finish my bachelor's degree mostly. And I study social science with the focus on sociology and politics. And after I had finished my A-levels, I went as an au pair to live in California for a year. And while I was in California, I went to a local college there and took some classes. So this was also a pretty amazing experience in the US. And that's why I'm a huge fan of America and all of your culture. And this is also why I'm very interested and exciting to be a part of such an amazing program like the Europe. And so I know that it's very exciting for all of you. And I'm so happy to get to experience all of that with all of you, because I'm new to the program. And this is actually my first week, so I'm super excited.
Yeah, thank you, Lea. Ulrike.
Yeah, so first of all, I will present Felix, who is not with us today, but who will accompany you on your way to Germany as well. So he will be our student intern of Europe, and he is also someone who will support you throughout everything that is to come. So he will be there from day one of the program until the end, and he is also very much fun. Will train with you your German language competencies and experience some trips and some things that take place in and around Aachen. And he will be at your side also and accompany you here in Germany. And my name is Ulrike Gertz, and I am also part of the program since this year, since the last 5 months. And I will be helping you through some of the administrative stuff and also guide you on your way to us. I studied English and German, and also came across many aspects of American culture, but I didn't have the chance yet to be there in person. But I definitely have it on my bucket list and hope to make some great connections throughout the next month. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ulrike. And now I would hand over to my colleague from the University of Michigan, Diane.
Hello, my name is Diane Saran. I'm the Assistant Director of IPE, and I am the Program Manager for this program this year. And if you do have any questions about the program, please feel free to email me, or you can make an appointment with me from our homepage on the advising page. And I encourage you to contact us before December 22nd. If you do have questions, because we will be not working over the break. So I encourage you to ask your questions before that point.
So you would like to continue with the next two slides, Diane?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was looking at the slide thinking this is a nice slide about the program. Yeah, let me continue. So we're very excited about this partnership, which has been ongoing for a number of years. We have titled it the Undergraduate Research Program at RWTH Aachen, as Dr. Holder mentioned. It's a top research university, which you're going to learn more about that. But what's important for you to know, at least just an overview, if you're watching this and you're trying to understand, is this for me? This is for COE students who are interested in doing research in the areas listed on the slide: biomedical, business. If you are like an industrial engineering student, there might be some aspects that are appealing to you from the business side: chemical engineering, computer science, electrical, materials, mechanical, math, physics. All of the research is conducted in English. So I know some of you have asked me about that. You'll learn more during this presentation, but at the end of the program, you will submit a report and present at their colloquium. So you'll learn more about that, and that's a great opportunity for you as a student. You'll also, as a part of this, take a German language course, as well as getting credit for a research practicum course, which is listed on our website. The program dates are May 13th through July 23rd, and the cost of the program is $17.90 in US dollars, and that is billed to your university account. And the deadline, importantly, is January 3rd. We want you to apply in our system by that date. Next slide. And then included in the fee are the program credits, your health insurance through GeoBlue, your orientation program, accommodations where you're going in Germany. So that's important to know that that's included. And then the tuition for the courses. You will get a public transportation pass, which our colleagues here will explain a little more about. And then an orientation program, and you'll also get a student card, which gives you access to the cafeterias, and you'll learn a little bit more about that. We will have an estimated other costs in our system very soon. So this will be a budget sheet in our system so that you can understand all other out-of-pocket expenses that you will need to budget for if you plan to do this program. So that will be updated very soon, most likely in the next week or so. Next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to Daniel to finish up.
Thank you very much. I will continue. This is real quickly the agenda of how we will continue with the presentation. So just some brief information about our university, about the city of Aachen, about the program specifically, and then of course some very important information about the next steps in case you're interested, in case you want to apply. And like I said, at the end, we can do a Q&A. So let's just shortly start with RWTH Aachen University. You can see here, this is a diagram, a drawing of the information about the 9 faculties. So we call ourselves the University of Technology, not a University of Engineering. And the reason for that is that while we have the core engineering faculties, which really make up the heart of the university, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, materials and electrical engineering, we also have a faculty of the humanities, a school of business, a faculty of medicine, the natural sciences and architecture. And as you can see here, the university strategy is to make as many interconnections between the faculties as possible in research as well as in teaching. And therefore, we also offer Europe International projects in all 9 faculties, and all of these projects, no matter if they're being hosted at the Faculty of Medicine, at the Faculty of Humanities, or even the Faculty of Architecture, can be engineering and technology based. So for instance, at the School of Business, we have a focus area in entrepreneurship and technology, and there we also offer projects. Some facts and figures. We are located located in Germany's west, so in the heart of Europe. We are the only city in Germany the city in Germany located very close to the Netherlands and to Belgium. This is something very exciting. So for my office, it's really only 5K to Belgium, 5K to the Netherlands. You can do 3 countries in 1 hour if you wish. We are a student town. We have 47,000 students at RWTH. This makes us the largest university of technology in Germany. We have 25% international students. 7,000 students come to us each year to study with us, around 150 study programs, and a budget of €1 billion per year. And this makes us a very large research university. This is probably the most confusing slide you'll see today. You may ask, what is this? This is actually Aachen from a bird's eye view. And as you can see, this is not a grid pattern as you know it from Detroit, Chicago, or other US towns. But, you know, Aachen is a little bit older than that. It was founded by the Romans, and then, you know, it developed out of this kind of like historic circle and spread in concentric circles around the city. But I promise you, it's very, very difficult to get lost in Aachen. And you can see the blue bits here. This is our campus. So we have 3 main locations. The one in the middle here is the downtown location. Then we have a western campus location, and this is the Melaten campus with the university clinic here. And this is where all the large engineering institutes are located. Walking from this part of the campus to this part of the campus would be 40 minutes, for instance, but there's also very good public transportation in the form of buses available in Aachen, and all of this is for free for students. We wanted to show a video before we move on, and hopefully this will work. So let's just see how it works, if it works.
You might just need to enable your voice. Let me see if I have to do it. I'm so sorry. Because I think the sound quality, you have to do it in the settings of your Zoom.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. It's just the pictures that count. Those are some images of the campus Melaten. And like I said, you know, there's really a lot of new buildings, large buildings, which host our university, our engineering institutes, which really work on large machinery. A few images back, you saw the Center for Wind Turbines, you know, which hosts a large wind turbine. And there we also offer Europe International projects. But let's move on and see what Aachen has to offer specifically. Lea.
Yeah, thank you, Daniel. So now I would like to give you some information about Aachen in general and why Aachen is an amazing city for students. So for me, I'm still very happy about my decision to study in Aachen, not because, as you already mentioned, the RWTH is an excellent university with so many fields and projects to explore. I also think that Aachen grew to become one of the most popular places in Germany for students. And for those of you who like statistics, we have just learned that Aachen has a total of 48,000 students with 12,000 international students, which gives us a total chance of every 4th person you meet being international. So I think this is pretty amazing. And in my opinion, Aachen also has the perfect balance between university, social life, nightlife, accessibility, cost of living, nature, and serenity. In comparison to other student cities in Germany, and also due to increasing cost of living, Aachen has still an acceptable cost of living. So the rents are not too high, and groceries and all types of food are available for not too much money, which is awesome. But I will continue with the food and its prices in a second. First of all, I want to tell you one of the best things as well is that you can find around the city centers and next to all these shopping malls or shopping centers, you can find a lot of forests to hike or even a lake to go swimming. So for the summer, it's great to just explore nature. And yeah, I think that's a great point. Also, if you work on a project or if you have a lot to do in your study, you can just, take a minute off, go relax, or just take some time off for yourself in the forest. And moving on to the next point, and probably the most important aspect, which Daniel also already mentioned. As a student in Aachen, you're very well connected. It's not just in Aachen itself, you're also very connected to a lot of big cities in Germany, like Cologne or Düsseldorf. And the best thing in that public transportation is that it's completely free. As you already know, you get a student ticket. And with this ticket, you can just ride with the bus or with the train, it doesn't matter, and it's free for you. And for my time in America, I remember that riding on public transportation, at least in California, sometimes it was very sketchy, but I can guarantee you that riding with public transportation in Aachen or in general in Germany isn't sketchy at all. Trains and buses are being taken care of very properly, and they are all very clean. Moving on to the next point. As Daniel already mentioned, Aachen is located directly at the border to the Netherlands and Belgium, which is great because it gives you the chance that you can just switch countries within 1 hour. And relating to the last point, riding with the train to Maastricht, for those of you who don't know Maastricht, that's the big city in the Netherlands, which is pretty beautiful. It's even free for you to ride with your semester train ticket over there. And next up, Aachen has a lot of international students and citizens from all over the world. And you constantly hear people speaking English. People here are also very polite and helpful. And I'm pretty sure when you get here and you are a native American English speaker, everyone is just so happy and stoked to talk to you. And next up, in Aachen, we have the Ponnstraße, this is where we call it. And this is where most students meet and go out for pubs, bars, clubbing, or food, for example. And as I mentioned earlier, here you can find all types of food variations from sushi to kebab or Indian food, just basically whatever you like. And the food there is really good and perfect for meeting friends and trying all kinds of food types from all over the world. And the best thing is that since there's so many students and the prices are not too high, they are very acceptable, and almost every restaurant has also special lunch offers. So it's perfect for just taking a break after the project. And next to the Ponnstraße, the RWTH has several cafeterias with a lot of food options. So if you're vegan or vegetarian or just like Italian food, that's not a problem. You can get food there for just around €3. So it's pretty cheap and very reachable. Yeah, and now the next point is actually, I would say a slightly personal aspect for myself, because I remember from my time abroad that I was missing German bread so much, which led me to the point that Aachen has so many bakeries, basically all over the place. And we in Aachen have some specialties, some special pastries, which can only be found in Aachen. We have the Streuselbrötchen, which is basically a wheat bread with crumbles on it. Doesn't sound that delicious, but it actually is. And we also have Printen, and Printen are somehow similar to gingerbread, but still with a slightly different taste. So if you will ever get the chance, if you ever come to Aachen, you should most definitely try one of these, or perfectly both of them. And the next point is our university campus, as you already saw in the picture, is very central and very well connected with the public transportation. You can reach every part of Aachen within some minutes, so it's pretty connected. And then another aspect which is special about Aachen is its history. In Aachen can be found a lot of Roman history. You can even still some fragments of their old buildings. And the best thing is some of them are even free. We have I would say a park. In this park, there are some Roman fragments. You could just go and see and explore and learn something about the Roman history. So next to the fragments of these Romans, Aachen also has to offer great architecture and unusual architecture as well. You may know the Dome in Aachen, which is a pretty amazing building, but as well as our town hall. It's also pretty amazing to just explore and see how it was built. And if some of you are interested in architecture, I could highly recommend Aachen, and you will be very happy here because you can just explore so much. And another interesting building is our university clinic. If you have some spare time, you may look up a photo because it's built like an old fabric, yeah, which gives it a very unique look. But since taste is different, some Aacheners love it, some Aacheners hate it. But if you have some time, you may look up the photo. And yeah, I think these are some of the most important things you need to know about Aachen. And I hope that this gave you a good impression about becoming a student in Aachen.
Yeah, I think that was gave us a wonderful impression, Leah. Thank you very much. And Streuselbrötchen are very yummy indeed. I can only second that. I would say we move on and come to the undergraduate research opportunities program. Like I said at the beginning, it's a structured research program for North American undergrads specifically. And we started the program in 2008, so it's really one of the largest and also most well-known, but also one of the oldest of its kind in Germany. As I also said at the beginning, it's essentially a 10-week research internship from mid-May to mid-July. So after you finished with what's probably called the spring term in Michigan, you would then have a few days come to Aachen, and by mid-end July, leave Aachen again and have enough time to prepare for the upcoming fall term. And it's open to undergrads from the second year onwards. The program includes a research internship, which is basically open to all fields of research that are being offered at RWTH. We have a database which you can check, and you will find around 200 projects which you can choose from. In case you don't find a project that suits you, but you have maybe identified an institute at RWTH where you really would like to work at, you can also let us know, and we would also proactively generate an internship for you. This is a special service for students from bilateral partner universities such as the University of Michigan. So once again, in case you don't find a project, but say, I want to work in, artificial intelligence and production engineering, you can let us know, and we will try to find supervisors for you. That's also really not a problem. The program includes German language course of different levels. So it's totally fine if you have no knowledge of the German language. That's really not a problem at all. We offer a beginner's course, but we also offer advanced courses. So in case you have some knowledge of the German language, you will do a German placement test and then see which course is the best for you, plus an extensive leisure program, about 2 excursions per week, usually half a day during the week. For instance, Wednesday afternoon, we will go to Maastricht, to the Netherlands. As Leah said, it's only like an hour by train, and we would spend the afternoon there, go back in the evening. And on the weekend, we usually offer a full day excursion. It's not mandatory, you're not forced to go with us, but usually 10 to 15 students join us for these excursions every weekend, and they're really a lot of fun because they allow you to get to know the area, but also really culturally and historically, and that's also really the focus, that you learn something about Germany, Europe, its history and its culture. So there's 3 pillars of the program. One is the independent research experience. That's the research internship at one of our institutes. It's supervised by scientific staff. That's usually a PhD student or postdoc, and you work on a small project that the supervisor is currently also working on. Quite often, it will lead to a publication. So quite often for our participants, this will be the first publication they have in their scientific CV afterwards, if the project really goes well. So they're publisher number 4 or 5, but still it's a first small publication, and that's also one of the advantages, that you're really working on current cutting edge projects which really reflect the research strengths of the university. I already talked about the German language training, and I also already talked about the intercultural experience. We have a couple of things that cut across all three pillars. We offer two workshops, one called Fit for Europe, which will give you an introduction to the German system of doing science, which is slightly different to the North American one. Universities and scientific work are organized a little bit differently, and we will introduce you in this workshop to these aspects. We offer an intercultural training which will highlight the do's and don'ts of German culture, which will show you how different, maybe or similar it is to the North American cultures. Of course, we also, really want to integrate you into the student community, as Lea said. So each participant will receive a buddy, and a buddy is an Aachen student, and he or she will take care of you during the first days. So ideally, you arrive at Aachen main station, the train station, and then the buddy will wait for you and guide you or take you to the dorm. And ideally, you will become friends, and that oftentimes happens. And this picture, before I continue, is the final symposium. I think Diane also talked about it at the beginning. You will present your research findings during the last week of the program. And it's a big symposium. We have our president joining. This is our, president at that time who joined the symposium. This is me. These are all the students. Sometimes, we even have parents or grandparents from North America joining the symposium, because afterwards, the family goes on vacation together in Europe. So it's always very, very nice. It's very synonymously, and it's a great end to the program. This is, just a couple of experiences that you will make, a couple of things that you will learn, and, basically what I already mentioned. You will, of course, learn how research is conducted in real world work settings. And like I said, it's not, the projects are really not old, obsolete, but they are really cutting edge projects, state-of-the-art scientific research in the respective field, because you work with supervisors who are either working on their postdoc project or who are either working on their PhD project. So this is really, cutting edge stuff, often also in connection with industry. So this is also an interconnection that we have quite frequently in regard to the program. The projects often also have a relation to industry. You will learn how to applicate or acquire theoretical knowledge in practice. You may learn, or which study direction you wish to pursue afterwards, because it's an early stage of doing research when you are in your undergraduate studies, and afterwards you may know, okay, a PhD is something for me, or well, academic research is not really my cup of tea. You know that afterwards. You will enhance your expertise and extracurricular competence, learn about international career options, build your international network. Of course, such a program is an immense CV booster. And if we look at the Europe International alumni, they oftentimes, work after the program and after they finished with their undergrads and their masters for German companies in the United States. It's very, very interesting. And of course, you will learn how to work independently and responsibly and gain a lot of intercultural experience. I would now hand over to my colleague, Diane, once again.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. That was amazing information for all of our students. I did mention this earlier, but I think it's nice to reiterate who is eligible on our side. And we review this as we review your applications in January. So you have to have a minimum of a 3.2 GPA. You have to currently be a student in the College of Engineering in good standing. And as mentioned before, you need to be applying in your sophomore year or higher. That means you're actually in your second year as you're applying this January and December. So if you're a first year student and you're watching this, I would just give you a couple of quick suggestions. First, make sure that you, if you are going to apply next year, make sure that you've gotten some experience doing research on our campus before you make this application, because that's really important to have that background of understanding what it's like to work in a research group. Next slide. I think. So as we mentioned, you're going to go into our system, which is Compass, and apply to our system by January 3rd. So what do you need within our system for the application? You will need to provide a copy of your passport. Now, you must have a valid passport to apply. What does that mean? It either has to, you have to have just recently gotten your passport, or you need to make sure that your passport will not expire for at least 1 year after your program end date. So that's important. Check your passport. If you need to apply either for a first-time passport or to renew your passport, you can do that as long as you have applied by January 3rd. If you are going to apply, we highly suggest you use the expedited service through the U.S. Department of State. The reason is we understand now, due to the current pandemic, that it could take up to 11 weeks to get your passport if you do not apply to expedite your passport. And in many cases, we just want to make sure that individuals do get their passport before you are required to depart. You will need to provide in the application, our application, we have an undergraduate abroad application. There are 2 short essays. There will be a form. This will help you as you apply once you're nominated by our office to apply directly to Aachen. It's a sheet that you'll fill out that gives us information about what projects you're interested in applying for. For each project that you apply for through our office, you will need to have a letter of motivation that explains why you feel you're qualified for the program. And we do suggest that you have at least 2 projects you're interested in, so that if one project you are not chosen for, you will have a second option that you are most interested in and feel that you would be a good fit for. You will want to have an updated copy of either your CV or resume, and your most current transcript. And then you will be reading some information about our travel funding that we do, that you can apply for. So that's our application that should be completed by January 3rd at 11:59 p.m. Once you get to midnight on January 3rd, that's actually January 4th, and you will not be able to submit your application after that point. Okay, next page. Believe it or not, we do get quite a few questions about that. And then we will be reviewing your applications the week of January 3rd. We do return to the office January 3rd. We have a number of different administrative things we're doing January 3rd and January 4th. So you will hear from us that week. And then you will be, it will explain to you the next step, which would be applying directly to the Europe system. And their deadline is January 10th. So that gives you a little bit of time. Just note, though, their January 10th is about 6 hours earlier than our January 10th. So you want to apply to their system. I put by 5 p.m. our time. Does that make sense to you all? Is that about the right time of day? Does the system close by midnight? Okay.
That's fine. 5 p.m. is fine.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure people realize you shouldn't try to do it in the evening that date. And then you'll be receiving information after you apply directly from our amazing colleagues here. We suggest a couple of other things on our side. Sign up for our newsletter, because we are providing more information about things like funding, or other opportunities if this one isn't the one for you. You can sign up for our newsletter right on our homepage. And then you can also attend a summer 101 advising session. You can find that on our advising page. That will give you a lot of information about other programs. So if you're sitting here and you think, this one might not be for me, you can learn about other opportunities. And if you are not a US citizen, please check Germany's website, the official entry information for you, because if you are not a US citizen, you might need to apply for a visa. If you're a US citizen, you will not need a visa to do this research opportunity because you'll be in the country for less than 90 days. Just note that our office does not process or assist students with visa applications. That's something that you'll have to research on your own if you're not a US citizen. Okay, next page. And I think these are your additional dates, so you'll learn a little bit more about what happens after you apply directly to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. And now I'd like to hand over to my colleague Ulrike, who will continue with our presentation.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Diane. So we summed up some things for you once again, just to make sure that everyone has everything at one glimpse. So here you find the most important dates and deadlines. So you already heard that we need your applications by January 10th. You should apply until 5 p.m. your time. If it's too late, then please get in touch. That's something that we need to say right here. So if it's 12 or 11:59 at your time, Diane, then we would also accept the application by the students from the University of Michigan. Just make sure that we have it by January 10 in your time zone. That would be super important for us. The student arrival date, the day when you would be here with us in Aachen, would be May 13th. So this is the day when we expect you to come to Aachen the latest. And the first day when your program starts is on the following Monday. It is May 16th. And the last day of the program does not sound too far away, but within the meantime, there is a lot to experience. And this would be July 22nd. And the day of departure, when you can plan to travel back, is July 23rd. The student housing dates might be a bit different. So if you choose to come earlier or leave a bit later, then you can stay in and around Aachen from May 1st until the 31st of July. Right, because those dates sound very rough and you think, okay, that is little that I might experience there. We fill your experience by many things that come on top of only the research experience. So what you see here is a selection that we made, which stems from our last Europe International group, which was conducted online. But we thought it might be nice for you to see what it was like, what was included there, because we do some things in person during the next year. So something that we should mention here as well is that we plan to have everything during the next year in person. And what we do first is, of course, welcome everyone who comes to Aachen here and to present everything that is to come during the next week. So we will celebrate your arrival with you together here in, at the RWTH. And then on the upper side of that picture, you see some things that are not mandatory, but you can decide to take part in them. So there are several things that can be done, and Leah already told you that there are special things that can be discovered in Aachen, and that is, for example, Aachen in a city. You can learn about stories, about facts and figures, and take part in this trip. Or you could also think of getting to know more about Aachen Cathedral. So our program won't look like the same, but we will do different things since it can take place in person, and also some sportive events might be included in that, but in general, it will be about discovering the culture, nature, and history of Aachen and the area around Aachen. Also included in that is often a trip to Cologne, where we also visit the hometown of Daniel and visit Cologne Cathedral as well, and some touristic attractions there. Yes, and some other castles might be included. The area of the Eifel might be something that we discovered together and go hiking there. So there are really nice things that you can look forward to if you apply and will be selected for this special program. And on the lower side of that image, you can see some things that are connected to RWTH Aachen. Especially, first of all, as I already mentioned, the welcome ceremony, and then the intercultural training, which Daniel already included in his part of the presentation, the buddy kickoff, an entrepreneurship workshop together with the Jülich research area, also something which is very valuable, where you learn how to, some aspects of how you can found your own company. And an intercultural competition is also part of our program, where you apply those things that you learned in the intercultural training in, yes, something creative. We had some very nice presentations during this year, where we had some differences between Germans and Americans, how they cope with high temperature during the summer, for example. So that was something that someone did a presentation on. People in America use technical devices, and those in Germany, they go out and have a barbecue. That was something that was a funny part about these differences here from Germany to America. But also, of course, you learn a lot about the similarities from those two nations. And in the end, as you see, we have our final symposium, which is kind of the end of an awesome research journey, where you have the chance to present all your results from the last 10 weeks on that one day, and have an audience which is made up, which consists of people from the university itself. So the supervisors are there, professors, fellow students, member of staff, and also interested persons like family members, friends, and so on. Everyone can join who is interested and able to come and join. And what you see here also on this slide is how we, did that in a virtual way. So we had it completely virtual this year, and you finally have a poster that should be presented, and you have a booth where everyone can come to, and there you have the chance to present your poster and answer questions. And also there were some selected students who wished to give a final presentation in front of everyone. That was also part of this final symposium. Yes, the next slide, please, Daniel. I guess now we can hopefully hear some of the impressions that our former students from RWTH, from northern universities, from universities from North America had. And yes, I hope that the sound can also be shared, because it's not just the pictures that are interesting, but also the
I think you just have to, Daniel, just go into your settings.
Yeah, I will have a look. I will start the video now. We will see if it works. Otherwise, we will just post the chat. We will post the link to the video, and then students can watch it afterwards.
Sounds good.
So let me know if it works, Diane. And if it doesn't, I would say we just post the chat and we continue. We just post the link and we continue with the presentation. But let's see how it works, if it works.
It doesn't. but we will do it as Daniel suggested. So we will share the link and then you can watch it afterwards. But what you will see is that some persons really, depending on the field of research they are conducting, have access to the most recent technology. They have hands-on experience really where they can participate in those projects that are at the cutting edge of research. And this is something that might also be watched by you afterwards to get an idea of how it felt for the students who participated. And it's a video that is worth watching, really. Now we told you some things about everything that is inside the program, and but what is also interesting is everything that surrounds that. So if you decide to take part in our program, you will be offered a place in one of the student dorms in Aachen. And if you choose to rather find accommodation yourself, you could also do it like this, but it's always the more secure way and the best way to stay at one of the student dorms. But for those who have family nearby or friends living nearby, that would also be an option to live with them. But the accommodation is already organized and you can stay there and have a guaranteed place at one of our student dorms included. If you are a US or Canadian citizen, you do not need to apply for those 3 months for a visa. But if you wish to stay a bit longer, then you would need to apply for a residence permit at the Foreigners Office. Please be assured that we will accompany you also if you should struggle with that. So we will guide you to the right person in charge and see what we can do for you if you wish to stay a bit longer. If you are not a US or Canadian citizen, please make sure that you apply for the visa even a bit earlier on in the process because it might be needed. Also, something that you should keep in mind or should be informed about right now is that there is an enrollment fee, which is not too much, but some €100, and you should know that it also includes some special services. So one thing is the use of public transportation throughout North Rhine-Westphalia, and that is the part that also Lea told us some more about already. You can travel to Düsseldorf, to Cologne. You can travel with the buses to throughout Aachen and even to the Netherlands, to Maastricht. So there are also many ways to use that public transportation ticket, and it will help you to get access to many places in Germany that are worth visiting, also apart from everything that we do together. Also included in that is an accident insurance, and you can use those university facilities like the library for free, or the sport program at a reduced price, and also eat at a reduced price in our Mensa, which is a place where all the students go and can have lunch together, which is also nice, and where you can taste the real life of German students, so to say. Yeah. Okay, and then we will go on and explain some of the next steps for you. So if you now think, yes, that sounds very good, then we show you how you can get from Michigan University to Germany. So that is what we will explain right now. So first of all, we will go through the eligibility criteria. You already heard some parts of that. So who is it who can apply for our program? So we address students from North American universities, which means the USA and Canada, and our program is also open to international students who are enrolled at these North American universities. Important is that you are in your bachelor and not yet in your master, because this is the only way how you can apply. A GPA of 3.2 is needed or higher. That's also something that Diane already pointed out, but it should be, yes, kept in mind for those who watch this right now. Right now we are planning with 35 students, a very small group, to come to Aachen because it takes place in person, and we try to have a small group of people who experience all those amazing things together. 4 spots of those places are reserved for the students from the University of Michigan in 2022. Yeah.
If
So
I
you
may
have
just,
good chances.
If I may just quickly add, Ulrike, we usually have 2/3 of the students coming from US institutions and 1/3 of the students coming from Canadian institutions. And usually around 20% of the participating students are international students. So we currently have these, and we also send you the letter of confirmations once you have received confirmation of the program ASAP, so you can deal with the visa questions accordingly.
Yes, so how do you proceed? First of all, Daniel and also Diane already mentioned that we have our own database where you can find more than 200 projects from all the faculties, from architecture to mechanical engineering, and also arts and culture. You can find, please choose 2 of the projects that fit your interests and future ambitions best, because if you cannot be included in the first one, then we might choose your second choice. So please search through the database, see what you like, and then apply for those 2 projects. To be best prepared, please update your CV and write a letter of motivation. That's something that you might have already done for the University of Michigan process too. In the letter of motivation, we hope that you describe what you already bring in from everything you did in the past, what you expect from your research project, and also what you wish to do in the future. Thereby we can see what project might fit best for you. Also, we need a letter of recommendation to be sent or handed in. You can upload it in our system, but also it can be sent via email directly from the respective person to our email address, which you find here on the slide. And yes, that's how it can be done. Both ways are acceptable. So to upload it in the system or to send it via email. Also, you should be prepared to upload your transcript of records. So organize it quite early, please. Either you download it or you organize it wherever it should be possible. To finalize your application, you need to go to our own database. So it is called Move On. And first of all, you do a registration there, and then you upload everything that is needed, like the CV, the letter of motivation, letter of recommendation, and your transcript of records, everything that you, in the best case, already prepared beforehand. And what you still need to keep in mind is the deadline, 10th of January, for the 3rd time. So I guess that it cannot be forgotten. And yeah, so then it should be done, and then we can select you and hopefully find the right project for you. And now I will hand over again to Lea, who is explaining some of the other next steps.
Can I ask a quick question here as we're on this page? What should they submit the letter? Should the individual writing the letter of recommendation email that letter directly to you, or should the student be emailing it? Should the individual who's writing the recommendation letter give it to the student? What would you prefer?
So as I said, both is acceptable. If you already have a letter of recommendation, it will be fine to upload it. But sometimes the respective persons rather send it via email, right, Daniel? So they they decide that they would rather have it sent to us via email because nothing can be changed in the letter of recommendation in this way. So Daniel, if you are a bit the expert here, so if there's anything to be added, then please let the students know.
That was the perfect answer. Thank you, Ulrike.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And then I had one more question. When will students hear back? And when will they have to commit to their research program?
Yes.
Should I answer that, or would you like to
yes,
answer?
Yes, please go
that,
on.
Ulrike? Okay. Yeah, it always depends a little bit, but we will make sure that students hear back from us in early February. And then once they receive the letter of confirmation, they usually have 7 to 10 days to commit. I mean, this was the process before COVID. And as Ulrike said, we're doing the program the first time in person, well, after, or let's rather call it during COVID. So we will see in January how we will adjust our timeline, but ideally, they will hear from us even earlier, already at the end of January. We can't promise that, but they will hear from us for sure by the beginning of February. And then, you know, like I said, 7 to 10 days to commit. And we're trying to doing this as quick as possible, because as I already mentioned, you know, we want international students to give the chance to really apply for a visa on time.
Okay, so moving on, I think I will repeat some of the information we just got, but I will just start. So usually you will receive the feedback. It says by the end of February, but as Dania already mentioned, we hope it will be the beginning of February. And yeah, of course, we will prioritize the applications from our partner universities, which is the University of Michigan. So you all will be prioritized. And as Ulrike already said, we have 4 spots saved for you guys. And yeah, the letter of acceptance, which includes the information of the program, will be issued, and you will get all the information you need. And what you can do, which will be great, if you could search for flights. And the closest airports to the city of Aachen are the Düsseldorf International Airport or Cologne-Bonn Airport. So if you just research, you could search and see where flights are the cheapest. But please keep in mind that if you have to change your flight or there will be any changes, you often have to pay for that. Yeah, and now another point to the cancellation policy, where I think Daniel also wants to add some points. But for now, due to COVID, this might change. If you cancel before April 3rd, you will lose your enrollment fee and have to pay the first month of your housing. But as I said, it could be different because of the pandemic we're currently in, but I think Daniel wants to add something. He could explain that a little better.
Yeah, thank you, Leah. Like I said, those are the regulations, you know, that we used before COVID. So we will probably come up with a new cancellation policy in January or in February. Once again, you know, just talking about the first point here, yeah, we used to, you know, send out the letter of confirmations by the end of February. We try to be a bit quicker next year, but we will inform students, you know, after they have applied about the next steps and about the next, you know, deadlines concerning letters of recommendations, cancellation policy, etc. This is still currently a little bit in the making.
Okay. Yeah, I think next slide, please. Thank you. And as Diane already mentioned, so if you're not holding an American or Canadian citizenship, you should please start for your apply for your visa early, because it's just so important, because it's so, yeah, it would be a bummer if you couldn't come because of the visa struggles. And then in the following, we will have a virtual onboarding session, which will help you to be prepared. And in this onboarding session, you will get all the important information you need for your stay. You will get furthermore information on Aachen and also the most recent information on the COVID safety regulations, because I mean, I think you have the same struggle in America. The regulations change almost every month, so it's just important to keep in touch and see where we are standing by February or May, because it's all super surprising for all of us. And yeah, also we will tell you something about necessary topics like the insurance or housing or all the questions you ask by them, we will of course answer. And then another important point is to get to know your fellow students, which is great because you can already get in touch with them and maybe even exchange your numbers or social media accounts. You can just talk to them and see whether they're excited too, or maybe you can talk about your packing list or stuff like that. And afterwards, the buddy will accompany you to your first days in Aachen. As Ulrike mentioned, we have the buddy kickoff, and the buddy will pick you up by the train station and show you your dorms, and just, yeah, in the best case, it's just a friend of you in Aachen and shows you around and helps you with all kind of struggles you may have.
Okay, thank you. I think this was our presentation. So thank you very much for listening to us. Yeah, I hope we could convince you successfully that Aachen is worth a try, that you want or wish to spend your next summer with us, with our program. And like I said at the beginning, if there are any questions, we're very happy to yeah, answer them now. And I would stop sharing my screen now, because I believe we have one student with us. If you are still there, it would be our pleasure if you could introduce yourself, tell us what you would be interested in specifically, you know, doing research when coming to Aachen. Yeah, I think you are there.
Hi, my name is Peng Jing. I'm a sophomore at the University of Michigan. I'm studying computer science, so obviously that's what I want to do research in. But also I have a declared minor in civil engineering, and something about the intersection of civil engineering and computer science would be my like primary area of interest. I haven't really looked into your offerings, but hopefully I can find something that I'm truly interested in, because I'm definitely interested, eager to visit Aachen. And yeah, so I actually have a question for you all. So when you're talking about applying for a visa to Germany, because I'm not a US citizen, like what type of visa should I be applied for? Is it like a normal tourist visa or a student visa?
I actually don't know. I think students have used both in the past, but with us it's a little bit similar to, I think Diane, you know, we're not really, or we really can't, yeah, give a legally bulletproof answer on this. So we would ask you to do your own research on the website of the yeah, German Foreign Ministry. But as far as I know, students have used both in the past, and of course we could, you know, check what the other international students have used if you wish.
Well, thanks for the answer. Well, I think that's probably everything that I have right now. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And you said you studied civil engineering with neuroscience. Did I get this correctly?
I said computer science.
Sorry. Okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, the connection was bad. I thought, okay, that's an interesting combination, civil engineering and neuroscience. But of course, civil engineering and computer science probably makes more sense. Yeah, we offer quite a lot of projects in both areas. So if you look in the database, you should find projects of interest. And if you don't find projects of interest, but for instance, you see an institute at our Faculty of Civil Engineering where you would like to do a project in, then just send us your letter of motivation, your CV, and we would try to generate a project specifically for you. And we constantly do this, so this is really not a problem. As you can imagine, students from North American University are quite popular at RWTH, so we also constantly generate new projects for the students specifically.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. I still gotta tell the story due for my final, so I'm probably signing off right now. Yeah, thanks again for the presentation. I really appreciated your advice and suggestions. Yeah, that's probably it. And have a nice day and happy holidays, I think.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. I'm going to stop recording now.